Howdy everyone, and today you're going to join me in the rabbit hole that is trying to improve my game's performance. I currently have a bulk of the core gameplay mechanics, things like that in the game. Probably still plenty of bugs, but I'm trying to get people to play it now, and if it's running at 20 FPS on my computer, and while my computer's not top of the line, it's getting better than that on much harder games. So I feel like it's time to improve mine so that way there's no hiccups and maybe people aren't running into issues that are caused by everything being unoptimized. So I'm going to start going down that rabbit hole. And first I wanted to show you just real quick some of the performance I'm getting. And disregard that, I have fixes where when you load the game it does properly remove that screen. But as you see with the little FPS counter sitting at 22, 21, 20, everything's seeming hunky-dory. But once we start getting where you have a few more polygons and jazz like that, it's sitting at 16 now. It's rocking that high performance. A little bit of 20s here, car hit, make sure a good time. Anywho, yeah. So that gives you the quick TLDR. We'll get to see a little bit more. Anyway, whatever she said. We're going to go down the rabbit hole since I am not familiar at all with optimizing. I've said a few things to enable GPU instancing on models that are used a lot with the same material. I tried static batching, and what I noticed with that one was that it would throw a warning in Unity with some of the objects, and I fully understood it. So let's just get away from people so they're not talking. So yeah, that's what we're going to try and do. We're going the approach of I am a noob. I don't fully know what I'm doing here. A little bit of my research has yielded so far that I should look at, LOD. Like I should get a lot of LOD things built for the different objects in the world. Which, yeah, makes sense. I can understand that. Then some of the other things I'm going to have to look at is a profiler, which I am not familiar with. I've seen it in Visual Studio when I was doing code in the past for just traditional corporate stuff. So yeah, we're going to go down this rabbit hole, and if you join me, hopefully it's useful. But let's jump into Unity. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to address the LOD side of the game, and I'm going to post a link in the video below on a YouTube video I found that covers this auto LOD GitHub code. It's old code. I'm not sure if it works in 6. I am not currently using Unity 6, but you put the GitHub repo in this little plus sign, add package from git URL, and it'll go through, it'll download, and it'll do a whole bunch of other things. That video that I'm posting below covers it more, but we're just more looking at the results in a game that's actually running and running poorly. So we're just going very simple. So if you want more info, look at that. But anyway, it shows up in here. And I don't know if this is a problem, but I've got an error here for import FPX. Could be a problem, could not be, I don't know. But I'm going to dive into it and we'll just see where it takes us. We'll be back. Howdy, and welcome back. As you see, we have our scene up, and so everything I've done over the last week has been LOD related. I'm using, there'll be a link below. There's a GitHub repo that has kind of a LOD generator. I use that, pretty good tool. the video will describe more of who I learned from, but I also had to go through and reorganize a lot of my code, or not code, but the game objects. And what I did was break everything down into zones or components or whatever. Like, so for here's this house. Everything here with the fence and everything is LOD. Same with that house, and the little objects like you see the trees there. Rinse, repeat. Same thing over in the city area. I broke it down LOD wise in blocks. Like, so this area here is a block with its own LOD. This area here, also a block. I don't know if it's the right way, and I also feel like I'm going to be readjusting the settings quite a bit. But I have seen an improvement from just this little bit of change. So we're going to show you real quick, just little finagle. I've still got more to do. I know it. But I think this is helping point out more that I do have code problems in my performance. While it's loading, what I've noticed is that I'm sometimes able to see 12, 13, maybe 14 FPS compared to before where I was lucky to hit 10 or 11. So, you know, that's just kind of how it works. See, if you notice, it went up to 10 and 11 right away, and it's not dipping below. What I've noticed is when I'm playing or doing things, occasionally there'll be a hiccup where it drops down to like 6, and then we jump back to 10 or 11. Then you see things like my triangles up in the upper right hand corner, 5 million. I've seen sometimes it drops down to 3. But beforehand, I think I had sometimes where I was getting up to like 10 million triangles. So from a numbers perspective, it seems like it's, you know, helping, but my FPS is still not great. Like you see a drop of down to 6. Then we go to less populated zone and seeing like 12. Oh, 6, and then back to 12. So yeah, overall 13. Oh, so I have seen a small improvement. I'm guessing there would be a lot more improvement if this wasn't a low poly game. So, but I feel like this is positive movement on the performance of the game. Yeah, in the upper right hand corner you can see like a 13 and a occasional 14. So it's fluctuating a lot. But hey, whatever. I'm hoping to get more out of it from the profiler, but you know, this is all stuff I'm learning. It took me a week to get something going with the LOD, because like, well, okay, I got something going, but I just didn't do a good job on it. You rinse, you repeat, you learn, yada yada. Anyway, so we'll stop this. And then we're just gonna open the profiler, and I will go at this separately, but I just kind of wanted to show, yeah, there we go, profiler. I'm gonna drag it here. And now I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but what I'm gonna do is find some videos, look things up, and this is, yeah, just more of a showcase of, can we gain performance, or, well, I know we can, but how? What are the steps? Things of that nature. So anyway, we'll be back once I figure something out with profiling. Who knows? Okay, so next we're going to blindly check out the profiler. I haven't looked up anything on it really. I think I've seen a video where it showed one person starting and seeing some data, but I didn't dive into it because that wasn't what I was trying to do at the point. So we're just going to blindly start the game with the profiler up and see what it spits out, if anything. And then we get to wait for a while for it to go. Yeah. This is something that, like, when I started the game development, I was like, in the back of my head, I knew eventually there would be optimization I had to do, but it was so far out of what I was considering or thinking about. So, yeah, here we are now with a very shoddy development, and I'm going to kind of see what we got. Wow, okay, so we got graphs, data. Still, okay, so I think with the profiler up, it has dropped the FPS a little. But, you know, whatever. Let's just run around a little. Maybe test some things, like... And then I'll look at this data later. Oh. What the... Okay, well, I broke something, apparently. Anyway, I'll fix that later. Let's buy energy. Okay, there we go. La la la. Cars driving along, doing their thing. People walking around. Yep. Super exciting content, but yeah. Here's the basics. It does look like it just spits out data. Now, what I'm going to do with that data, who knows? Hey, the car made it. Yay! And yeah.
You've got the kind of energy that makes mirrors blink.
Anyway.
They walk like they just remembered they left the oven on last Tuesday.
I felt a gust of hopelessness. Oh, wait, it was just them.
There's all that. Let's, editor loop, profiler window, yada yada. Player loop. Behavior update. Yeah, so I'm going to have to skim through this just kind of on my own because I don't know what I'm looking at, so it'll be a lot of dirt, but there's the first step is running it. Let's see where it takes me after this. Well, I am back with quicker results than I expected. So I didn't save, I showed you guys a little bit of the recording before, and it had a lot of blue right up here from CPU usage. And I had written code a while ago. I was having a problem with nav mesh agents. They just sit there a while. I was like, okay, maybe I've got too many going on. So I'd broken up the city where most of the people were walking into zones where if the player was so far away, they would stop. They wouldn't be trying to find a path or anything like that. And apparently that was a pretty heavy CPU load because it showed I went to CPU usage and it went to hierarchy because I think this is how it defaults to. But I went to hierarchy and I saw like 37 or 40 something % up in behavior updates. I was like, okay, and it was a high value. So I just promptly disabled it, and now you can see just the kind of jump you see just by looking through what's bogging things down. This is very noob level. I know this because I am a noob, but pretty sure a lot of other developers are also noob in one way or another. So let's go with it. But you'll get to see the performance jump pretty quick. I was kind of surprised once it loads. There we go. See, right out the gate, we're seeing like 21, 22, 18, 23, when normally this was 10 or 11. To me, it feels like it's already running better. It still needs to be higher, but you see people are walking around. Yeah, great. Just everything kind of going smooth. I'm pretty sure there's still plenty of issues to dig into. But this is where we're at. When I come back, it'll just be when I feel like I'm done with profiling and deciding what next to try and gain more performance, because I'm still seeing some hang-ups. I just don't know
There goes the human version
what's causing them. So that's just a very a very positive thing right away, I feel. Anyway, yeah, let me get back into this stuff and see where we come at. Howdy everyone, we are back with another small update to my attempts at gains of performance. I learned something recently. There's a link at the bottom of the video for the video I found that gave me some good info, which is here in the profiler you have a play mode, but you also have an edit mode. And let's stop because it's doing a lot of things. Well, actually, that might be good to know. So, on this main camera, I have the script for attaching to a person, things like that. It's code I've never optimized. And what this does is I can hit record and it'll sit there and run the code, and you can kind of see, okay, what's this code doing, hurting and helping. So you see, like, you know, it doesn't look like it's doing too much. Like, its responses and everything are very quick. But I saw in other files, like I have in here, I have since updated this code. And my standard update approach right now has been all the code works. It's just wasn't written for efficiency. So I've been using Claude, copy all my code, paste it in there, ask it to optimize, and it'll sit there and tell you a bunch of the very obvious issues it finds, just a quick little summary, and it'll give you a whole new version. Depending on the changes it makes or things like that, what I've been doing is I've been renaming my old code, so in case any changes they make causes havoc, then I can easily revert back to the code that works and try and understand more of what they're changing and what's wrong. And that's been my whole process. So with that, last clip, I think we saw me hitting like 20-ish FPS. Let's just show you real quick kind of what this process has done. And all I've done is change like 6 or 7 things of code. And I was sitting at 20 FPS, something like that. And once it loads, you'll see what type of improvements we've been able to get just by going through the code and letting Claude or letting some other AI tool optimize it. It's not trying, well, I mean, it does appear to rewrite sometimes because it's like, hey, you've got too many if statements, yada, yada, yada. Anyway. So yeah, now we're sitting just the idle, you know, 30, 28, 25. So we've seen raises, but I know I've still got jumps. Like you can watch my FPS, like 23, 25, whatever, and then drop down to 9. So I've still got a lot of room to go, but just using the profiler to just run each game object that you've had a hand in or that you don't trust the code for can give you a lot, because I've seen, and look, 50 when it's paused. Anyway, I saw some spikes like you see along the bottom where it'd be like 1,000, 250. It'd look a lot like this, but then like every 5 or 10 seconds it'd see a huge spike that would say that theoretically I would have been like 5 FPS or whatever the response time was. It was huge. So I feel like, yeah, a lot of the coding I have done has been around, this is what I think will make it work. Now that I know everything works currently as I would expect it to, having AI just go and like, hey, we can improve this, does go a long way. But anyway, that's more info I just learned. Let's come back after I've profiled every bit of code I've fiddled with and see where it takes us. Howdy, and we're back with another small update. So far I'm still going through my code and having AI try to optimize it and then verify it still works, things like that. the most recent thing where I had heard about it before, but AI called it out saying that I should look at object pooling, and for something like my world object spawner that you see there that deals with spawning quest items, optional and regular, I decided to let AI update my code to optimize it and to set up object pooling, caching, and all that fun jazz. So I just wanted to touch base on that one. No link to share on that one. This is more of a just blindly doing it. If I have to dive into it more, we'll go there. But this is what we're looking at so far. Which, small incremental upgrades or improvements. So I'm happy with that. Small bit of frustration with you. I was hoping for some big smoking gun, but I feel like I've got plenty more things to dig into to try and improve this, like make it run better. That's what happens when you just kind of throw everything there and don't worry too much about the end results. And yeah, here we're at so far. You're seeing like little dips down to 26 something, but seeing a lot of 30s. I feel like when I see a huge drop where it goes down to like 5, 10, 11, that's probably something related to garbage collection, and I'll have to dive into that later. But yeah, so far seeing small little improvements as I go. It's a very tedious process, but I'm pretty sure anyone who's had to optimize things before knows the process. And eventually I'll be a lot better at it. So yeah, that's a quick little update. Yeah, we'll be back when we're done going through code and either A, it's been improved, it's great, I'm moving on, or B, diving into another concept. So let's find out. Howdy, and we're back with just another little status thing. So I have made a lot of iterations as I fiddled around with LOD more, and like I do things a certain way, and then after going through and doing a bunch of the models and things with LOD, then was like, oh wait, it'd be better this way. So a lot of revision. So we're going to show just a quick little, hey, where are we at? And then still a little more LOD, but I feel like I found something pretty big for me to get some gains from. So we're going to start it. It's going to take 30 seconds, a minute, whatever. It's going to take a minute. But yeah, as you see, sitting there, oh look, 37, 36. We run around. I think that's garbage collection from the editor, that I don't know, but as you see, 34, 33, little drop to 12, again, don't know the true cause there, but yeah, all seems hunky-dory. We look back, you see off in the distance there, like I still got to tweak kind of the LOD aspect of it. But over here, it's looking fine. We're sitting in the 30s. Feeling pretty good about it. There's some yellow cars. Oh, I saw 39. As we get further out here, yep, 42, 40. So out here, I'm seeing a little better numbers now. And you still can't see the city off in the distance. So, yay. And there's some cars. Anyway, so yeah, making progress, still not there, but anyway, we'll be back with next results. Or what I wanted to show you real quick, actually, before I dive into it, I feel like I'll get some results from this, is I'd forgotten all about it. I have, as you see right here, a game object called grass, and if you look at the world, it is all of it. And while this may not be a whole lot in regard, each one being not a whole lot in regards to models, there are a lot here. So I'm going to break it out into zones, set up a basic LOD of it's either visible or it's fade out. And then I'm hoping to see some gains there, but we'll see when we come back. Hooray! Howdy, and we are back with another little small update for my attempts at improving performance. While the game is building, starting, yada yada, I've reiterated probably like 3 or 4 times now setting up LOD as I've learned more. And I feel like the biggest thing that has given me improvements is on the LOD generator helper. For everything static, not moving, setting it up to combine the meshes into one have given me a pretty significant improvement, I feel. So as you can see here, we're sitting in the mid-30s just sitting there. At times, although now that I've got it recording, I'm seeing a little lower numbers, but you see 40, 39, 42. Everything's still looking about the same. I don't know if the little hiccups are from just running it in the editor or if that's something with the garbage collection. I'll learn that as I go. But as you see, everything, I don't know if you really know, but like one significant thing for me was like I had all this grass around and that was just something I wanted for a look. And I had them just all as individual objects. And then the first improvement I saw was taking them, putting them all in an LOD, like groups. And then having it be like, in this case, you see, 70%, called at 70%. So like right now, you don't see any grass over there. But as you walk over, you'll see kind of the crossfade as it comes up. And that's just throughout the entire island. So, yeah, I saw an improvement from that. And now I think I've gained at least a few FPS from, here, let's show you a couple things. Now, when I pause it, I'm getting close to 80, 90. I've seen 100 FPS, so that was exciting for me. But there are like 70 or 80 models that are now combined into one submesh, and I feel like that has improved things. So I may be done with the LOD level now, but now I've got to figure out what else I can do, because I still feel like this should be at minimum over 60 FPS because it's low poly. There's no real reason to, something to fix later. Something with the physics on this mountain, or on some of the mountains. But anyway, you can see everything. Yay, great. And then let's just get out of here. Yeah, so lots of work. I think I'm at like 2 or 3 weeks now trying to do improvement on performance, and I guess I've still got more time. So let's see where I come back at. Howdy, and we're back. Turns out from the last clip, I'm okay with stopping for now on optimization. I found more objects in the world that I could create LODs for and get things situated, and I decided to test it with a build to see performance difference of editor versus, hey, here's the executable. The one thing I did change though, besides LOD, was if we come look at project settings under quality, the one that's normally labeled fantastic, VSync count was set to every VBank, I believe, or every second VBank by default. And that, I learned in build capped it at 60. So I seen 59 and 60, 59 and 60. So yeah, I changed that and got a nice little jump for fantastic settings. So we're just going to show you what it looks like in the editor. when it runs, just to give you that ballpark of, hey, here's what it was looking like, here's how it was behaving, just so we have the total picture. And Unity, being Unity, is taking its lollygagging time. I mean, to be fair, there is a lot of things in the world, so that makes sense, I guess. There we go. Okay. So we see, you know, a little jump to 48, whatever. Depending on where you are, I am a little surprised. Last time I did this, I seen like 60 there, something like that. But as you can see, you know, getting like 48 FPS max. It's just going around doing its thing. Yeah, nothing special. But hey, it appears to be working. Now, let's stop that. And let's wait for it to finish. Now we will show you. Next up, here's how the build looks with the FPS. So we got it going. You know, let's go new game. I'm not gonna really watch the intro. I'm just gonna pick some people. Start. Then boop. There we go. Okay, and here we are. Bump up to 111. I might turn the VSync thing back on. I don't know, but we look at settings. You know, 1440p set to the highest graphic option. And yeah, no, we're seeing good numbers now. Looking really solid. I've still got plenty of things to work on, improve. Like the LOD probably could use some tweaking. If you can see off in the distance there, you can see through because of how it truncated the models and meshed them down into one. So still spots for improvement, but the performance is significantly better from the last build I started with. So as you see here, you see grass, nothing over there, LOD kicks in, and you know, just gotta fine tune it for what I think it should be, but you know, we'll get there. And with that said, hopefully some of this information might have been useful or given you a nice idea on direction to help improve your game. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and bye-bye.